So I believe you all got a copy of the sadhana. This is the combined sadhana of the three guardians, they call it. Means three Lord of the three families, they call it. Lord of the wisdom, compassion, and power of the three bodhisattvas. So they are Manjushri, who is embodiment of wisdom, Avalokitesha, wisdom, embodiment of compassion, and Vajrapani, embodiment of power. These three qualities are the qualities we seek to gain from our listening, contemplation, and meditation. When we have wisdom, then we have ability to tailor compassion to sentient beings. We will know exactly what to do to help each and every sentient being. And then that ability to ripen sentient beings through our wisdom, tailoring compassion, then we will have power to mature them, ripen them. And that's why you need to see the Manjushri as the knowledge and as not a separate deity, and Avalokitesha as a compassionate ability to tailor the teaching to tame and ripen sentient beings. And power is Vajrapani, is through compassion we can empower to tame and guide sentient beings. So that's why the three Kulanatha means we ourselves will be able to have the power to overcome the antithesis of these three. Usually we are deprived of wisdom, we are ignorant, and therefore we have no compassion even to the self, let alone to sentient beings, and therefore we are completely impoverished, so we are powerless. So due to ignorance and hatred and desire, we are impoverished. But when we overcome these three root afflictions, then we have the wisdom, compassion, and power. So here in Vajrayana, this can be done by meditating on the three lords. So that's just a short introduction. So this sadhana, like other sadhana, has a preliminary and a main. First is the general preliminary is refuge and the generation of bodhichitta. So at the very beginning, you take refuge, as the wording says, from now on until I and all sentient beings, limitless space, have reached enlightenment. This very much specifies the Mahayana-ness of the refuge, that you are taking refuge from the point of view of time, and from now until essence of enlightenment reach. From the point of view of those who take refuge, not just oneself, but all sentient beings, whose numbers are just as vast as the space. And purpose is not just for higher rebirth or to avoid lower rebirth or even to gain personal liberation, but to reach ultimate enlightenment. So this specifically stating who, why, and for what length, what purpose you're going to take refuge is specifically Mahayana content. So with this mind, then you take refuge in the Guru, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. So you recite the four-line refuge prayer, however many times, maybe 3 minimum, maybe 21 times if time permits. After taking refuge, you join your hands at the heart, and then you seek the receiving the blessings to make supplication, having paid homage to and taking refuge in the Guru and the three jewels. I beseech, beseech. I think them is not really. I should be beseech you. Because you're right in front of the triple gem. Then you don't use you don't use the third person objective here. There should be to I beseech you to bless my mind stream. Is my suggestion in the translation. I haven't tried to correct this translation. This is the first time I had time to look at it. Anyway, so after having taking refuge, make the supplication, then you generate bodhichitta. Remember, sadhana practice is excellent form of discipline because you're able to renew your refuge, you're able to renew your bodhichitta. So in order to benefit all sentient beings, I will strive to attain complete enlightenment. So this is really stating the wishing bodhicitta, meaning in order to benefit all sentient beings, I will strive to attain complete enlightenment. That's the wishing bodhicitta. And to achieve this, I shall practice combined sadhana of three guidance. That's the engaging bodhicitta, that in order to accomplish the wish, I will actualize this by sitting down and doing the sadhana of Trikulanatha using the mantra, mudra, and dhyana. So mantra is the recitation, mudra is the hand gestures, and dhyana is concentration. Achieve this all practice. So during that practice, you will be practicing the 6 parameters. You'll be sitting still, giving your time, and that's generosity, having daily practice, devotion, that's generosity, discipline, and patience, and diligence, concentration, but all combined, you will practice sadhana. So that's that verse, that line, I would say that paragraph specifically says wishing and engaging bodhicitta. You repeat that 3 times. So that's conclude the refuge and the generation of bodhicitta. Then comes the uncommon preliminary, that is accumulation of merit and accumulation of wisdom. These are uncommon preliminaries because in any sadhana, main aim is to attain the two kayas, rupa kaya and dharma kaya. To attain the rupa kaya, we have to accumulate merit to remove all the afflictive emotions and obscurations. To achieve the Dharmakaya, we have to accumulate wisdom and remove all the knowledge obscuration. So for that, one has to first invoke the merit field. In order to do the accumulation merit, you have to do the invocation of the merit field. You do that not by yourself as ordinary person, because ordinary person can't do enough of merit. So you have to imagine yourself as a Manjushri. So that's why it says, instantly I appear as I am a noble Manjushri. In my heart is a moon, lotus and moon disk, is a yellow syllable D, which is the seed syllable Manjushri. The word D is the seed syllable of the Dharani, which is the retention of the wisdom. D means also to hold the wisdom, And so from the seed syllable is called Bija Mantra, means the seed of the deity. Emanate countless rays of light, inviting in the space above the three Kulanatha, that is the Manjushri, Avalokitesha, and Vajrapani as the merit field, whose nature is inseparable from the Guru, surrounded by all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So you visualize instantly the appearance of the three Kulanatha in before you. So this time you are visualizing them as a merit field in front of you as a practitioner in the pride of being Manjushri. And then you do that by mantra Om Vajra Samaja, and cross your hand over, do the hand cross invocation gesture, Om Vajra Samaja, visualize. So you have to use the mantra, mudra, and dhyana. Mantra is Om Vajra Samaja, which literally means Om Vajra Samaja means Om means homage. Vajra Samaja means adamantine gathering. So it's like a summoning, sort of requesting all to come together. It's like all are summoned. So that's the mantra. And the mudra is the hand gesture. And the dhyana is constant visualizing all the five, the three kulanada with all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas appears before you. Okay, and then you join your hands at the heart, because what's the purpose of invoking the accumulate merit field in front of you is so that you can do the accumulation merit. What are the things that you will do the accumulation merit? You will do the accumulation merit in relation to the holy objects. First, by paying homage. Second, by making offerings. Third, by doing the 7 limb prayers. And then the fourth is meditation on the 4 immeasurables. So first of all, you pay homage by paying homage by saying Namo Guru Be. So you join your hands like this, crown on Namo Guru Be means I pay homage to the gurus. And this paying homage to Guru, you're addressing to the Lord of the family, who are on the top of the head of the Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani. Namo Guru Be. Nama Sarvatata Gata Trikula Nata Mandala Saparivara Be. That means Nama means homage, Sarva means all, Tathagata means that's gone, Trikula means 3 family, Natha means Lord, Mandala means Mandala in this case means means circle, meaning the entourage. Saparivara means together with, where Be means 2. So two all the Tathagatas, 3 Kula, 3 Lord, 3 guardians, together with the retinue, I pay homage. So paying homage, which is physically doing Namo Guru Be, Nama Asarvata Tangata Tirikula Nata Mandala Saparivare Be. Physically, you do that. That's the mudra. Yeah. Mantra is recitation of that. And then visualizing your body as multiplying as many as atoms of the universe, and then paying homage to the Trikulanatha and all the enlightened ones. So that constitute accumulated merit by paying homage physically, verbally, mentally. What does it meritorious? It is purified the pride. Pride created negative karmas. Arrogance created negative karmas physically, verbally, mentally are to be purified. That's what the accumulation merit means, eradication of its opposite. If you don't eradicate the karma and affliction, then there is no merit. The merit has to have the power to eradicate its opposite. And so that's the accumulation merit by paying homage. So, of course, ritually, that's what it is. But what it means is subsequently in your everyday life, you have a lot more humility in everyday life with not just enlightened ones, but also with ordinary people. You always have courtesy and humility and this sort of thing, because people often have arrogance, pride, and which often contradicts, it impedes their usefulness to benefit others. So that's the accumulation merit. Then second is accumulation merit by making offerings. So these offerings are arranged here, 8 offerings. But the main mantra is same mantra, Om Sarvatata Gata Trikula Nata Mandala Saparivara. Then only difference is the Argam. And the first one, Padim. So there are 8 mantras, 8 different. Argam means drinking water. So you're saying homage to all the Tathagatas, the Lord of the 3 families, together with the retinues, I offer drinking water. So Om Sarvatathagata Trikula Nata Saparivara Aragam Parditsa. So you snap the finger. So you're visualizing issuing of goddesses carrying beautiful drinking water. So these are 8 offerings respectively. First is drinking water. Drinking water is offered to the mouth of the Tathagatas. Not that they are thirsty, but in order to quench the thirst of sentient beings who, by gaining the drink of the knowledge of the Dharma, that's what you should visualize. And the second is Padyam. Om Sarva Tathagata Trikulananda Saparivara Padyam. Padyam is feet washing water. The feet washing water is poured on the feet of the Buddhas with the prayer so that all sentient beings' feet is free from the dirt of the pride, the dust of the pride that comes from the learning of the knowledge of the Dharma. Then the third is a pushpa, which is offering of flowers. As we offer flower to the head of the Tirikulanatha, we pray that may all sentient beings blossom their flower-like qualities. So that's why that's the dhyana, that's the concentration. Mudra is slightly different. Pushpa for flower, and then fourth one is dupe for incense. So the mudra is like this gesture as if you're holding a bunch of incense sticks, but your concentration should be that you're offering incense. The incense is offering off smell to the nose of the enlightened ones, but mainly you're offering incense smell, so as to that all sentient beings will be wafted by the aroma of pure sincerity, morality, and honesty. So you're requesting, praying that sentient beings be blessed with those good qualities when you offer the incense. Likewise, when you offer the aloke, which is the lamp for which you do the thumbs up gesture, Om Sarvatata Kulana Sabara Aloke Praditya Soha. And then that time, of course, you offer the lamp to the eyes of the Buddhas. Of course, Buddhas really don't need light because they see everything as it is, but we're offering the light so that sentient beings are able to gain the wisdom, eye of wisdom of relative as well as ultimate nature of things as they appear, as they really are, so that they actually understand the right view. So with this in mind, you need to, with that understanding, you need to do the gesture and snap the finger. Instantly, as soon as you snap the finger, you understand the purpose of the offerings. And then the next one is Gande. Gande is perfume. So as you offer the sixth offering perfume, like you're rubbing the perfume hand gesture like this, Gande. That time, of course, you offer the perfume to the chest of the enlightened ones, but you actually request for prayer so that all sentient beings' heart and chest will be blessed by the reservoir of faith, So their faith is not small, but a huge amount. These days, lots of people have lots of doubt and skepticism. And often people are promoting doubt and debate in Buddhism, which I don't think it really serves the real purposes. Ultimately, Buddhism is a faith, it is not a doubt. So therefore, you have to have faith in the triple gem, in the law of karma, and the existence of reincarnation, and so on. So you have to, may you have this reservoir of faith. So with this in mind, you do the Gandhi, Pradita. So you should do this while you're right in the very holy presence of the divine presence of all the enlightened one, who not only can see your hand gestures, you not only can hear your recitation, but you can actually know exactly intent and concentration and intention with which you're making offerings with. So you got to have very, very present. And then seventh is Nevidya. That is the food. So that the gesture is this, mantra is Nevidya. And concentrate, of course, Nevidya food is technically offered to the mouth of the Buddha. But of course, Buddhas are not someone who needs to gross food to eat. It's the sentient beings who are starving. They have so much food in the pantry and fridge, but they're still starving. They're still discontented as ever. So we are offering prayers so may all sentient beings feed themselves with the daily meditation, sadhana, like this sadhana. So people should take up the sadhana commitment. We often try to say there is no commitment, but it's better that you do make a commitment, to do the sadhana. Because if you do, then you're having going to go. That's why I taken the liberty to explain the sadhana so that you actually know how to do the sadhana and then do the sadhana. If you do the sadhana, then you actually will have discipline to actually sit down and do the sadhana. It doesn't mean that you have to do sadhana of every empowerment you receive, but you at least take few sadhanas up your sleeves as a daily food for your thoughts. So that's really daily food, nividi, pratitsa soha. And the last but not least is the shabda, which is the sound. For this, you do the hand gesture like this. And so the sound is offered as music to the ears of the enlightened ones. But symbolically, it's not the sound offering that enlightened ones being needs, but actually sentient being should practice right speech. So you offer prayer, may all beings practice right speech. Being able to speak, communicate clearly and meaningfully and compassionately and wisely and pertinently without sending confusing signals. So you need to communicate directly and clearly and intently for the benefit of others, speaking not harshly or condescendingly, but speaking in a very kindly and very encouragingly and very harmoniously, so that may all beings be blessed with right speech. So you visualize, do the hand gesture, mantra, mudra in front of the Tathagatas, those 8 offerings. So that's the accumulation merit by making offerings. Because if you accumulate merit by making offerings, that means you will be very generous. Generous means a person who's generous is very happy. Generosity has to be not sort of coerced by each other, but generosity should come voluntarily from oneself. And then whether it's time or effort or energy or monetary resources, whatever, they should be all sincerely motivated and making offering. So making offerings is a very powerful merit to overcome miserliness and stinginess and greediness. Okay, so that's accumulation merit by making offering. Then the third is accumulation merit by doing the sevenfold prayers. So the sevenfold prayers. First is confession. Even though I said take refuge in the 3 jewels, that's not the limb of refuge. I confess all my negative deeds and obscurations. So that's the first is limb of is confession of all misdeeds, apologizing, forgiving others is a very powerful merit. One needs to do that very regularly, and so then you are able to not remain, do not leave things confused and increase misunderstanding. You will clarify them. You will offload the misunderstanding if you offer apology and forgive each other. So that's the first limb. Second is rejoicing in the merits, positive deeds and virtuous beings is the merit of rejoicing. If you have the merit of rejoicing, the good deeds of others, you don't develop jealousy or self-loathing or competitiveness and all of that. And the third is keeping the Buddha spirit of an awakening in my mind. I don't think it's spirit of awakening. It means resolving to attain enlightenment of the Buddha. That's ultimate bodhichitta. That's the third limb. Third limb. Fourth is I take refuge until enlightenment reach in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So that's the fourth limb, which is same as the refuge we go. And the fourth limb is refuge. Fifth is wishing bodhicitta. For the sake of myself and others, I will generate bodhicitta. Sixth one is having aroused the supreme mind of enlightenment, which means bodhicitta. I'll treat all beings as my noble guests. So that's the sixth limb. Sixth limb is that you will practice the magnificent conduct of bodhisattva. Means you will practice 6 parameters. So that's the sixth limb. Last but not least is the limb of dedication and may I attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So these 7 things, respectively, the confession remedies guilt and judgment and resentment. Okay, and making offerings overcomes miserliness. Okay, and seeking to attain ultimate enlightenment overcomes short-sightedness. And taking refuge, of course, overcomes taking incorrect refuge and incorrect or inappropriate objects of refuge. And wishing bodhichitta, of course, overcomes selfish chitta. And engaging bodhichitta enables oneself to take up the conduct of the bodhisattvas. And then dedicating of the merit is, as a bodhisattva, one must not keep any benefit for oneself, nor should it be one's intent in the very beginning. One shouldn't have any hidden agenda. So one should dedicate even the little merit that you get, that also you should benefit to sentient beings. So these are the 7 limbs. So these 3, paying homage, making offerings, and reviewing the 7 limbs is accumulation merit in relation to the holy object. Now the last one is accumulation merit in relation to the ordinary sentient beings by meditating on the 4 immeasurables, which is more important because if you have a good practitioner's qualities, you should have more ability to practice loving kindness. May all sentient beings attain happiness and cause of happiness. This is not the temporary happiness we're referring to. We're talking about real ultimate happiness, So this is loving kindness, If your loving kindness is a loving kindness or emotional connection between 2 people, finite people's relationship is not loving kindness, attachment, really. It's desire. Actual loving kindness is not with finite sentient beings. Actual loving kindness with infinite sentient beings. That's why it says, may all sentient beings attain happiness and cause of happiness. So infinite loving kindness to infinite sentient beings. Loving kindness. Loving kindness is meritorious because it overcomes ill will and hatred and resentment. And may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. That's infinite compassion. Infinite compassion prevents us from developing any malice or any violent act of violence, physical violence or verbal violence, or hoarding or brooding ill will. These are completely eradicated by developing compassion. And may all sentient beings never part from bliss, which is free from sorrow, is immeasurable joyfulness. The joy is absence of ill will, absence of resentment, absence of stinginess, absence of no poor me feeling. That is the true joy. And when purpose of the practice of Dharma is that you will have this kind of inner contentment. No matter how mundane things doesn't work out, things where they don't dampen your morale, you overall have this incredible joy and satisfaction in that because you don't do ill will, you don't do greed, you don't do resentment. Of course, until one has reached certain peak, of course, one still tend to do that, but one become much better at suppressing them and then not doing them at all. That will be the real joy. People who have realized the infinite joyfulness, you can see their health and their ability to benefit others is far more effective than those who are not. So that's immeasurable joyfulness. 4th one is immeasurable equanimity. That is abiding, not being too attached to the near ones, not too cold or indifferent or negligent of others. So there's no discrepancy between too close to someone, too detached from others. No, one sees them all with equanimity. So these 4 immeasurables, meditating on immeasurable loving kindness, compassion, joyful equanimity, it should be the main kind of focus of every day-to-day practice when we are dealing with sentient beings. Because when you meet sentient beings with lots of problems, who have who are pretty loud or a bit abusive or aggressive, unskillful, we should develop compassion to them. We should still not harbor ill will against them, but try to maintain a good, kind, loving kindness thought towards them and compassionate attitude towards them. And one shouldn't be depressed about the sentient beings' helplessness and hopelessness. Because when you see sentient beings who are so difficult to work with, we shouldn't be depressed because we should still have the joy. And they are constant cause of our challenges to develop compassion, develop generosity, develop equanimity, and so on. So that's why sentient beings are cause of our development of joyfulness, that they always remind us our commitment to bodhichitta, our commitment to practice tolerance, our commitment to practice generosity. And with us sentient beings, where are we going to practice any of these virtues? So that's why all sentient beings are cause of our loving kindness, cause of our compassion, cause of our joyfulness, and cause of our equanimity as well. So that's the accumulation of merit by meditating on the four immeasurables. So that concludes the accumulation of merit. Then the second is accumulation merit, accumulation of wisdom by meditating on emptiness. So for that, you recite the mantra Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma. That Sarva shouldn't be W because it's a V, not W. Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Sarva V, not W. Sarva Dharma Swabhava, like Swabhava here. Shuddho Ahang. Shuddho should have apostrophe because it's Ahang. Ahang. So that is a mantra recitation of emptiness, meaning homage to all phenomena are by nature pure. So I too am pure. So it means I'm light. So as soon as you recite this, all phenomena spontaneously vanish into referenceless emptiness. So meaning there is referenceless means unobjectifiable. You couldn't objectify anything. So therefore they all vanish. Not because they were there, they vanished, but you mistakenly thought they existed. Now you realize they don't. So they all become spontaneously empty. So that's the called accumulation merit wisdom in order to attain Dharmakaya. Okay, so now begins the main sadhana. Main sadhana is taking the role of the Trikulanatha. From this state of emptiness arises the syllable pam. Syllable pam is the seed syllable of lotus, petal, padma. So pam, and which then transform into lotus. Yeah, so out of emptiness become pam, pam become lotus. And what is there for lotus? Lotus is a visual symbol of loving kindness and relative bodhicitta. Upon this is seed silver ram, which transform into sun disk. Yeah, sun disk. And then sun disk is a sun disk on top of the lotus, symbolize the ultimate bodhicitta. On top of this syllable hung, which transform into vast and spacious dome-like protection chakra. Syllable hung is the C syllable transforming a big protection chakra. What do we call it? It's a protection chakra. Its base is made out of vajra flow, meaning very indestructible material. Enclosure consists of vajra wall, curtain, and the dome, and the roof is formed by a vajra dome and a canopy, and blazing fire transcendental wisdom envelopes the surrounding area. So you're enclosed in this huge protection chakra. Inside this protection circle, from the syllable pam, again, a multicolored lotus with 32 petal appears. So again, represent relative bodhicitta. At the center of the lotus is syllable ram, appears, which transforms sun mandala, Surya mandala, that's the sun disk. On top of that is sun mandala, and the syllable hung transform into a double vajra. Double vajra is cross vajra, which is color of the double vajra has one vajra on each of the four directions, and white is to the east, blue is to the south, west to the red, green to the north, yellow to the center. So here because the blue is to the south, so the yellow could not be to the south. Therefore, yellow is in the center. Yellow is in the center because of the sun disk. So that's why the the color correlation between 4 directions is slightly different here because of the needing to have the yellow in the center. Therefore, south cannot be yellow but has been blue. In the middle of the double vajra, the syllable brum, seed syllable brum is usually seed syllable of Virachana or celestial palace. So here in this case, seed syllable celestial palace transformed in a magnificent boundless palace of great liberation. Made out of various precious stones, precious palace is square, four doors, and surrounded by a 3-layered wall. The inner wall is yellow. Inner layer is wall. The middle one is white. The outer layer is blue in color. So it's not a 3-wall, but 3-layered wall. So it's very important to distinguish that. On top of the wall is a precious yellow cornice surrounded by golden frieze supported by precious bricks. Protruding from the 4 cornices, corners of the 4 cornices are the heads of the 4 Makara sea monsters, their mouths open from which hang garlands, half garlands, short ones, bell and half moon swaying by wind, meaning chiming by wind rather, not just swaying visually, but chiming by ears, as well as garlands, flowers, projections of Bakwili jewels. Terrace above the porch that emerge from the flat roof of the building is surrounded by a fortification that ends with the top ledge surrounded by the precious brick frame. I don't know, the brick frame is, none of this should be thought as a concrete, okay? Whether it's a brick or whether it's a wood or whether metal or whatever, they are only visually appears as brick, but they're not tangible like that. They're all celestial mentioned. They're all celestial, you know? And outside of the walls are the nice red niches housing, the 16 offering goddesses. Niches are really like platforms displaying the act of presenting their respect sensory offerings, because each of the offering goddesses are offering various sensory objects. The 4 gateways complete with portals. 4 outer corners of the walls are adorned with jewels consisting of crescent moons surrounded by cross vajras. Inside, 8 pillars support the circular vajra beam upon which the 4 vajra pillars stands, and holding a beautiful checkered board dome. From the peak of this dome is a half vajra shaped top protrudes. That's the pinnacle that's referring to. Each gateway is mounted by 4-storied entranceway. So this is called Torana in Sanskrit. That represent really the 4 immeasurables, actually 4 different stages of meditative states, also in shape of pagoda. Each story is supported 4 pillars. Atop the upper terrace of each entranceway, a Dharma wheel stands right on a lotus, adorned with a parasol above and flanked by a pair of a buck and a doe. I don't know, you don't have to say a deer, male and female. It's traditionally it's called a buck and doe rather than a pair of deer, a male and female. It seems a little bit unnecessary way of language. A buck and a deer, buck and a doe. The male deer and a female deer crouch respectively to its left and right. So that's the kind of a symbol of Buddha turning the wheel of Dharma. On pedestals placed on the fortification, protecting the terraces or our victory banners. These are various kind of ornamentation of the celestial palace. Flags and various other ornaments adorn the palace. The triangle quadrants of the palace floor, where the deities reside, these are talking about the floor, dais are colored east in the white, blue in the south. See, the blue is south, not yellow. The west, red in the west, green in the north, and yellow in the center. That's exactly the color we were referring to before about the cross vajra. So each mandala, this color orientation can sometimes change slightly. At the palace's center, that's in the center, is circling, following the following transformation. Okay, the very center is from syllable R, transform a moon mandala. In the north is a syllable Ram, transform sun mandala, and the remaining three directions, east, south, and west, is a traditional syllable R, transform into moon mandalas. So those are the seeds. Those are the 5 seeds in the center and 4 directions. And the central seed is the very essence of one's own mind, manifest in the form of syllable D. So this is the seed syllable Manjushri, which transform into a sword. First is the seed syllable, then is Hasta Chinha. Hasta Chinha means hand symbol. The sword of wisdom marked by syllable D. Countless rays of light emanating from it make offering to the enlightened ones and benefit ordinary sentient beings. And these rays of light absorb back, it's not dissolve back, absorb back into the sword of wisdom, which then which spontaneously transform into Manjushri. So the C syllable D and hand symbol marked by these rays of light goes out, absorb back, and then transform into Arya Manjushri. Spontaneously oneself as Arya Manjushri. Yourself actually becomes Arya Manjushri. Yeah? And your Manjushri, yourself as a Manjushri is orange in color, one face, two arms, with your right. One shouldn't really say with his, because it's with my. With my upraised arm, I wield a sword of wisdom. It's not he, because you're not describing some others. It's yourself is now. This is self-generators. So therefore, I think the translation can change. With my upraised right hand, I wield the sword of wisdom, while with my left hand, in front of my heart, I hold the stem of Utpala flower, blossoming at the level of my left ear. Because all of these third person singular should be first person singular. In the heart of this lotus, in the heart of lotus, this is a text containing Prajnaparamita Sutra. So that's the description of the appearance. Manjushri has a serene face of handsome 16-year-old whose long braids of hair curls to the left. I am, one shouldn't say he is, I am adorned with 8 kinds of jewelry, and wears multicolored brocade garments that cover his upper and lower body. Not cover his, but my upper and lower body. My legs are crossed in the adamantine posture. So all this third person singular should be changed into first person singular. So that's yourself as Manjushri in the center. Then in the south, which is on your right, this is the syllable Hri transforms the Lord into C syllable Hri is the C syllable of Avalokiteshvara, transformed into lotus. Why? Because lotus is the hand symbol of Avalokiteshvara. Lotus marked with syllable Hri. The lotus transformed into Arya Avalokiteshvara, white in color, one face, 2 hands. Now here you can say his right hand, because we referring to Avalokiteshvara. His right hand is resting on his right hand is in the mudra of supreme generosity, which is granting excellent generosity, while his left hand he holds a stem of Utpala flower in front of his heart. This lotus opens at his heart, at his heart, and right leg is slightly extended, while left hand in bend inward. So that's the two-armed Avalokiteshvara. Then in the north, which is north, is that is on your left. On the left, seed syllable Hung transform into Hung is a seed syllable Vajrapani and transform into Vajra, because Vajra is the hand symbol of Vajrapani, marked with syllable Hung. The Vajra transform into Vajrapani. Then the Vajra itself transform into Vajrapani, blue in color, one face, 2 hands. His right hand holds the Vajra in front of his heart, and the left hand holds the bell at his waist. And he's in the bodhisattva posture, legs bent. His legs are bent in bodhisattva posture. So both Vajrapani, Avalokiteshvara on your right and Vajrapani on the left are similarly adorned various jewelries and silken garments. So that's that. Then on the eastern, which is the front, and the back, which is western, those are two empty thrones. Those empty thrones are filled by paramita literatures, scriptures on those. So that's how it occupies the 5 seats. In the center is yourself, Manjushri, and then on the right is Avalokitesha, left is Vajrapani, and the back and front, rear and front are filled with the holy scriptures. So now this way you have now created the five seats. And then join the palms together, top of your head, and paying homage. Thumb slightly bent inwards. Om Sarvatata Gat. Om Sarvatata Gat. Gato. Obave. I don't know about the D, where the D came from. That D sounds like a printing error. Bhava Samasa. Obavas. Bhavaya Swaha. And then with the mudra, blooding lotus in the heart, Om Pema Obavaya Soha, Padmao. See there, you have this Edma. Oh, the D is a little question to me. Anyway, so Padma Obavaya Soha. So this is paying homage to each of the three kulas. And then the third is Om Vajri by Bhavaya Swaha. So that's the third one. So you do those 3 mantras and 3 mudras at the respective places by way of paying homage. After you have done that, then visualize the patriarchs, meaning patriarch means lord of the family, of the respective lord family, Verochana on Manjushri, Amitabha on Avalokitesha, Amoghasiddhi on top of Vajrapani. Come and crown the heads of the 3 guardians. So that actually means that here the 3 lords, 3 Tathaga, 3 kulas are themselves adorned by Verochana, Amitabha, and Amoghasiddhi, respectively, the three Kulanathas. While we are now clearly visualizing ourselves Manjushri, yourself Manjushri, rays of light emanate. Now you're going to do the invocation of the wisdom being. While we are clearly visualizing ourselves Manjushri, I don't know why this all of a sudden we use the word we. So while I'm clearly visualizing myself as Manjushri, should be I. While I'm clearly visualizing myself as Manjushri, rays of light emanate from the seed syllable D in my heart. The light rays invite Nandala of the 3 guardians surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of. So you're now invoking the wisdom being, Jnana Sattvas of the 3 Kula by rays of light going from your heart. Yeah. Om Vajra Samanja, you do the invocation, and then you offer them seed by saying Om Pema Kamalaya Swam. So that's you offering the seed in front of you. And then you make the offerings. Then you make the 8 offerings as you have there. And after the 8 offerings, then you may pay homage, praise and homage to each of the 3 kulas. Conferring glory upon all sentient beings with your delightful body, speech, mind, you manifest perfectly in light and form with the appearance of a charming 16-year-old youth. Thus you are renowned as a youthful Arya Manjushri, ever youthful Manjushri. To you, you are conceived of wisdom, I prostrate. So that's a homage and praise to Manjushri. Embodiment of wisdom, dimension of all the Buddhas, the past, present, future. You are compassionate regard the prayers of all sentient within the 6 realms. With the 11 faces, you encompass the entire expanse of the universe. To you, the boundless light, I prostrate. So here it specifically says the 11 phase one. That's fine, but actually, one you have visualized is the 1 phase one. So that doesn't really matter. And that's a homage and praise to Avalokiteshvara, residing within the supreme, the holy palace of the willows, Lord of the Guhya mantras. Guhya mantra means secret mantras, and the Vidya mantra means knowledge mantra, because mantra has a Guhya mantra, Vidya mantra, and the Nama mantra. So here they mention only the 2. or Dharani mantra. So Dharani mantra is not mentioned. Guhya mantra and Vidya mantras. Destroy all Mara's obstacles to you, Bhagavan Vajrapani are prostrate. So that's a eulogy and homage to Vajrapani. So that concludes the praise to the three kulas. And then now you are here going to recite the mantra. In the heart of the self-generated, the self-generated is yourself as a Manjushri. Front-generated is the is the is the is the um, is the five Tathagatas. So the three Tathagatas, as well as the Holy Scriptures. In their heart, see syllable D in your heart, Kri in Avalokiteshwaras, and Hung as Vajrapani, surrounded by their respective mantras. And then what happens? Mantra garlands in the heart of the three front-generated deities. So that's the of Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani who are in the space above. Rays of light present offering to the enlightened being, benefit sentient beings. Yeah. Then the light rays are dissolved back into mantra garland into your heart, bringing back all the blessings of wisdom of Manjushri, compassion of Avalokitesh, power of all Vajrapani, of all Buddhas, Bodhisattva, Arhat, particular Buddhas, 10 directions, of all beings, celestial beings, Nagas, Rishis means saints, endowed with accomplishments, because each of them have various accomplishment of peace, enrichment, power, and force. And all the Siddha means great saints. Vidyadhara means knowledge holder. And so all these blessings absorb into mind stream. So when you're reciting these three mantras, Om Arapachanadi, Om Mani Padme Hum, and Vajrapani, you should visualize that all these blessings are invoked and absorbed and then boosted with your inner realization of this. So with this in mind, you need to recite the mantra Om Arapachanadi, Om Mani Padme Hum, Vajrapani. Maybe you can do one round each. Om Arapachanadi, one round. Om Mani Padme Hum, one round. Om Vajrapani Hum, one round. So all of these are relevant mantras of the three kulas. Three kulas, first is the wisdom kula. Wisdom kula is Manjushri, because kula means family or the race in which, so the knowledge, the older, if you look at the Vajrayana deities, not only in the Kriya Tantra, but also in Anuttara Yoga Tantra, they all belong to one of these three kulas, Like Yamantaka belongs to Manjushri, for instance, and so on. So anyway, without having to go through that, you recite the Om Arapachanadi. So this Arapacha, this R doesn't have a H, doesn't have a H. R, it's not R with H. Ara. Pa doesn't have a ph because it's not fur pa. It's a pa and a pa. Cha is fine. Cha is not the aspirated form of cha here. It's unaspirated cha. Cha is not the cha. So usually we tend to write only ca because ca in Sanskrit is correct pronunciation, correct transliteration of cha. This is palatal cha. That's not aspirated cha, because if we write ch, it indicates that it is aspirated cha. So there's a bit of correction with the mantra. R doesn't have a H. Ra is fine. Pa should be pa, the bilabial, unaspirated bilabial, doesn't have H. Because you put H, then it becomes aspirated bilabial pa, which it doesn't have in Sanskrit. It's doesn't have no meaning in that. It should be pa, pa, pa. Cha, Ca, not Cha, because Ch is aspirated palatal. This is unaspirated palatal, Ca, cha, Om, Ara, Pa, cha, na. Na is also na with the retroflex na, not the normal gentle na. And D is the C syllable. So Omara Pachanadi. So Omara Pachanadi is literally because mantra of Manjushri, but literally it has the one vowel and four consonants. And each of these five main characters, excluding Om and Di. If you look at the 7 syllables, exclude the first one, Om, and Di at the end, is a 5 syllable. Arapachana. A is guttural. Ra is retroflex. Pa is bilabial. Cha is palatal. Na is dental and nasal. So it blesses all 5 places of any language articulation. So that's more like a neuro-linguistically try to bless all your 5 places of articulation as a gift of wisdom of Manjushi's right speech. Omara Pachanadi. So then Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum is the famous 6-syllable mantra Avalokiteshvara, which really means hail to the jewel in the lotus. Om is hail, jewel is Mani, Padme is in the lotus. Because when you say Padme, Padme is locative in the lotus. Padma is a lotus, Padme is in the lotus. So what is in the lotus? Jewel in the lotus. What is jewel? Jewel is bodhichitta. What is lotus? Lotus is loving kindness, compassion. Hung is the seed syllable. So Om Mani Padme Hum means jewel, hail, jewel in the lotus, literally meaning, but which is invoking the quintessence of all the teachings of Buddha's wisdom and compassion together, relative and ultimate bodhicitta, generating the compassion towards all sentient beings. Then the Vajrapani mantra is Om Vajrapani Hum. Om and Hung at the end, in the middle is Om Vajrapani. All of these 3 mantras are what we call Nama mantra, because you can have Nama mantra, you can have Vidya mantra, and then you have Dharani mantra. So this is Nama mantra. Nama mantra means mantra of the name of the deity. Arapachana is a name of Manjushri, and Om Mani Padme Hum is Padma holder, the lotus bearer, is the name of Avalokiteshvara. Vajrapani means Vajra in hand. Pani means hand. Pani means Vajra in hand. So they are named after their hand implements. So Vajra in hand, and lotus in hand, and Arapachana. So these are all Nama mantra, but you can all, of course, it has relationship with the Dharani mantra and Vidya mantra as well. But let's not talk about those 3 at this stage, as time wouldn't permit. In any way, you recite those 3 mantras at least minimum times, maybe 1 round of mala or 21 each, depending to your time and concentration. And so then to conclude this, Bhagwan, please confer upon us, me and all sentient beings, all the ordinary and supreme siddhis without exception. So this is you supplicating at the end of the recitation mantra. You fold your hand to the heart, and with the mala, you supplicate to the Lord of the crown, through the crown. And all the ordinary means worldly, all the mundane kind of siddhis. And the supreme siddhi means enlightenment. Perfect siddhi is enlightenment without exception. So with this man, you put a mala on your head, and then you recite the Vajrasattva mantra 3 times. So I won't go into the Vajrasattva mantra here. The Vajrasattva mantra recite 3 times in order to rectify any omission and deletion or addition that may have occurred due to ignorance and distraction and whatever case might be, as it says, from my omission or mistake that due to my ignorance I have committed or caused to be committed. During this practice, I have asked forgiveness from the protectors. So that's just a formality of requesting forgiveness to any mispronunciation and incorrect form of practice. So with this in mind, in this way, ask the Buddhas to be patient with their mistakes. And then Om Vajra Mu, invite the wisdom beings to depart. The wisdom beings of the mandala return to their respective abodes. Touched by the rays of light emanating from the sea syllable into our heart, 2 accompanying deities, meaning the 2 accompanying deity means Avalokiteshvara and Vajrapani, and the mandala structure self-visualization dissolve into me. So all of the true bodhisattvas and holy scriptures dissolve into myself, yourself as a Manjushri, remember, while maintaining the confidence, visualizing oneself as the Samaya deity. Samaya means Samaya Sattva deity, meaning symbolically, you are embodiment of all three Kulanatha, but in the form we enact all activity with the same assurance. By the force of this virtue, so you actually remain in the divine pride of being Manjushri, because both Avalokitesha and Vajrapani has absorbed into you. So you engaged in the pride of being the embodiment of all three in the form of Manjushri. So that concludes the actual sadhana. And then you conclude the sadhana by making the dedication merit. By the force of this virtue, having swiftly realized three guardians. So three guardians is a kulanatha, the Sanskrit natha. Whether you should really use the word guardians or not, because guardian people think is some kind of protector from outside. It's really, you need to be your own guardian rather than having, you need to be guarded by your own wisdom, compassion, and power. So Manjushri is not some external monolithic entity, or nor is Avalokitesha, nor is Vajrapani. These are three qualities. If you have wisdom, you are guarded. If you have compassion, you are guarded. If you have power to unify these, you are guarded. Because you have then realized, if you have wisdom, you know the relative reality as well as ultimate reality. And while you can rest in the state of ultimate realization, but sentient beings do not know that. So therefore, therefore you develop compassion to the sentient beings who don't know the wisdom of emptiness. And therefore you radiate, tailor the compassion to ripen sentient beings because you have the power to do that. So this is the meaning. You're not some kind of external Manjushri and Avalokitesha Vajrapani guard you wherever you go, one on either side, and to like those bouncers or the bodyguards of some important people. It's not like that. You have this inner wisdom of compassion and the power of unifying these two together. That's the Trikulanath. So don't think of these three separate deities guarding your safety from every direction, that you're protected by other deities, like a kind of theistic Buddhist people do. There are no theistic Buddhists, supposed to be no theistic Buddhists. The people who have Judeo-Christian background all trying to bring all these Judeo-Christian values, as if we have actually guardians and protectors out there. And also some traditional Buddhists themselves think that these deities actually exist out there because they don't know the Dharma. So they always externalize deities or gurus and protectors, which actually is a misunderstanding. It is your own wisdom, your own compassion, your own power to unify these three is the Trikulanatha. Okay, sure. In the Tanka, you have three deities. One is yellow, one is white, one is red, very blue. It's very colorful. But remember, it's much more than that. You have to have this incredible unition of this compassion and wisdom together, and the power of these two, compassion and wisdom together, is formidable. That is Trikulanatha. May I establish all sentient without exception in that state? Yeah, then definitely we will be able to tailor compassion, wisdom, and power to not see something as independently, inherently existing. And that's the wisdom. And then compassion is so for those people who do not see these, are grasping as they do, as they think something is truly existing from its own side. Then they're still carrying on and on and on, and days, weeks, months after, still about some past. They haven't gotten over it because they don't have the wisdom to know everything's impermanent and empty of inherent existence. If they have, that's the wisdom. That's the Manjushri. Manjushri is not a kind of a youthful boy that's working for you. It's the youthfulness of the wisdom that makes you not to be aged by those wrong views. You are ever youthful because you have the vibrant realization, the right view. Because of that, you have amazing compassion to sentient beings who are malnourished by lack of this. That is Avalokiteshvara. And Vajrapani is the power to combine method and wisdom together. And then you might have to sometimes show fierce compassion. Because sentient beings sometimes are very stubborn and unruly. Even if you practice compassion, normally they just don't get it. So sometimes you have to use fierce kind of mode of expression in order to ripen and tame the other sentient being. That's Vajrapani. Vajrapani isn't a kind of a external guardian that will guard you from external forces. It's not like that. So anyway, here at the end of the sadhana, you dedicate the mind by the merit of this virtue, having swiftly attained three guardians. So that's referred to. That's why the word guardian is a little bit of problematic for me. So. Uh, Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani. May I establish all sentient beings without exception in that state? Yeah, in that state. Which state? Not in the state of the guardians. The state of those knowledges, stage of the compassion, stage of the wisdom, state of the power in unifying those two together. So with this, we have concluded the sadhana here. So thank you very much, everyone, for having me, and again, Sakya friends for organizing this. So that any empowerment you receive should augment your existing faith and devotion of existing of bodhichitta and the right view. In order to boost them, you should take up the sadhanas, do the sadhanas, recite the mantras, remember the qualities of what is the qualities, what I'm supposed to be empowered by, what does it mean to be empowered? You have the power to practice wisdom, teachings of the Buddha, that how everything is interdependently originated. And people always think something did by himself to me, and I did it all, blunder all by myself, and people becoming so stuck in the past. The wisdom is to know that no, everything is interdependently originated. And those who don't know this are indeed suffering, thinking, and then they are really resenting themselves or some other person or certain situations as if they were all truly existing. So with this in mind, we will take a leave from here. Thank you very much, everyone. May you all be well and happy. May you be able to have access to this wisdom, access to practice compassion, and then have the power to unify these two together, and therefore stay very connected with all. So with this in mind, I'll do the dedication. Mary. Om Bade Mere Mere Owaga Dade Fa Me Zage Om Neze Me Ale Bere Dobe Bronde Ojeno Vadore Senede Erenda Mahayana Jije Vadeva Mere Raya me obe be gazela choda mahayana jiji kareja majusena wod azama abadra jela follow awode hezambo aja de ge de mere Mede excellent bodhichitta Cheba Vede Naya Danzo Ve has been bo me preliminaries,